So Conor Benn defeats Regis Prograis by unanimous decision, and while I'm not shocked by it, I will say I'm surprised. Not necessarily that he went the distance with Regis Prograis, but he didn't hurt him, he couldn't put him down, and he spoke a lot of this, that, and the other about being able to knock him out. And, you know, Regis Prograis, at 37 years old, he showed up last night like looking like he definitely wanted to win the fight, and that he very much had business being there. And, you know, he shook his head a lot of the time when Conor Benn would land a punch, saying, you know, like Rocky Balboa to Clubber Lang, saying like, ain't so bad, you know, like he just shook his head like, nah, you can't hurt me, you know, I'm not falling for this. And he showed excellent kind of boxing ability of his own, and that just again illustrates the gulf in class between someone like Regis Prograis and Conor Benn. Conor Benn is a good fighter, Regis Prograis is a great fighter, and he's had a great career, and he's a two-time world champion, and we have to give him his respect. He's retired now, although I noticed that nobody is saying Conor Benn's retired Regis Prograis. I think it was like when you make the choice yourself, because you're just like, oh, I made a big bag now, and you know, I can't really hang with, if I can't beat Conor Benn, then, you know, I shouldn't really be in the sport. But it's not like he beat the brakes off him. So yeah, big respect to Regis Prograis. But let's talk about Conor Benn, because I think, you know, I think it's just really, it's really a frustrating thing that we keep hearing and having conversations, and I'm doing it right now, I'm talking about Conor Benn, only because of like stuff that doesn't actually involve the art of boxing. Like, it's the management dispute and the promotional contracts, or promotional dispute, and the kind of backstabbing of Eddie Hearn, and the family history, you know, being a legacy fighter of Nigel Benn, you know, Nigel Benn's son, and the legacy rivalry between the Eubanks and things like that. But when you see him in the ring, like, I watched this whole fight last night, and I thought to myself, this guy is just not good enough. And it's annoying, and I think a lot of people will always chastise him for this, and the fact that he never went the kind of traditional route, because he was leapfrogging other fighters to get opportunities and big money fights because of the legacy. And, you know, we've established this. It was evident last night. You know, he's fighting a guy, you know, almost 10 years his senior, and it's like he never proved himself at British level, and never proved himself at European level, and therefore why is he in the world level conversations? You know, well, what's the crack there? Like, why is he able to be the mandatory for the WBC? I mean, that just takes away all the credibility of the green and gold, right? Like, and why is he, you know, not in conversations with fighters like Harry Scarf and like you know, Chris Congo? And I put a tweet out last night, or put a message out on X, if you will, and I just said, Conor Benn does not beat any of the following. So, number one, Jack Catterall. You'll never hear, like, Conor Benn will call out Ryan Garcia until, you know, the cows come home, and he'll call out Shakur Stevenson, get into the ring with him, and it's pathetic. But you'll never hear the name Jack Catterall come out of his mouth, because Jack Catterall is, again, an example of a fighter who is extremely dangerous and high risk, low reward, because he just doesn't have that, doesn't really have that fanfare, if you will, or like the kind of the additional selling point that you would need to make a fight with Conor Benn. You know, like, he's never been a world champion, and he doesn't have like a massive fan base, and he's not the massive shit talker. I mean, he's definitely done a lot for his image more recently after the Josh Taylor victory and stuff, and, you know, kind of funny videos. But that aside, you know, there's Jack Catterall, we never hear a name. Michael McKinson, never. Michael McKinson is the worst for Conor Benn. He is a massive problem for him. And, you know, he's engaged to fight someone in Nigeria soon. I did a video on that the other day. But, like, Michael McKinson is someone who is deserved of an opportunity against someone like Conor Benn, but he will outbox him, and it'll probably be boring to the casual, but for the pure fan, you'll just be like, wow, this is art. As I said before, Chris Congo, nightmare for him, and he's way better boxer than him. Eko Suman, also nightmare for him. Even someone like Harry Scarf, I would be interested. I think he beats Harry Scarf. I think of all those guys, he probably does beat him. But why are these guys? He's just evaded all the top talent in the UK to get these big fights, and it's just I don't know, it's preposterous. But okay, so then he's got a big cut now because he's fought Prograis, who's a southpaw, and they clashed heads a lot and stuff. So he's going to need a few months to heal from this. I think we'll probably see him in, it's April now, so April, May, June, July, August. So very possibly he could be fighting Ryan Garcia in September. I think any of those top 147 pounders, especially someone like Lewis Crocker, will be salivating at the opportunity to fight Conor Benn. Big money fight, real big opportunity to just put the name to rest, and to just be okay, Conor Benn, you had your time in the sun, but we just beat the brakes of him, and then he can do whatever he does, if he can rebuild, if he can find some other interesting fights. But I just think that would take him out of the world level conversation, and I would doubt that he would be able to get back there, after a true beating, especially against someone like Ryan Garcia or Devin Haney, even Shakur Stevenson, who, I don't know how that fight, that's a fight that gets made more for the fanfare. It's not for a title or anything like that, unless he can establish one in the next few, or get one in the next few months. But yeah, let me know what you think. You thought the fight was good, if you thought that he did well, if you think he deserves title shots. I'd love to hear it in the comment section. But yeah, that's Conor Benn versus Regis Prograis for you. Have a great Sunday.